moving from there, we're going to talk about comics. I'm going to say this right now. I'm probably editing
Comics.
earlier in the podcast that I should have mentioned that this podcast is about. It's going to be about the last generation or the current generation that's about to end of video games. We're going to later on in the podcast, we're going to focus a lot on pretty much the most popular video games that come out in the past 7 years on PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch, and PC, and just talk about how they've affected the way video games have been made. But yeah, moving on, we're going to talk about comics real quick before we get to that, and we're going to specifically talk about DC Future State, what you see Amir smiling about. I'm
Yes,
going to
very much so.
and talk about what I know about DC's Future State. It's a 2 month event between like January, February. It's being compared to like all new, all different Marvel, where they basically, with Marvel, they threw a bunch of new ideas at the wall, and some of them stick, some of them stuck, some of them different. I mean, didn't. Sorry, and it seems like they're doing something similar. And I'm all about the status quo changing, but without it being permanent. Like this is going to be a separate universe. So we could still have. That's what I love about comics. You could have new stuff without getting rid of the old. You could still have both. And I am in
This
dire.
isn't even Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm in dire need of something new because I'm tired of seeing the same stuff over and over again. Um, a bunch of interesting stories have been told, but not all of them good. Like we talked about this before, the Batman, like DC has become its namesake, Detective Comics. It's become the Batman verse. Everything has been centered around Batman. I get it; he's one of the most popular superheroes on the planet, but like there are other characters.
And I love Batman. Honestly, everything can be centered around Batman. I'd be fine with that. But if you're gonna center everything around Batman, make it more original. The Batman Who Laughs, I'm sorry, is one of the worst characters to come out of comics in recent years, and I will stand by that. I can already tell I'm gonna get a lot of hate because a lot of people will love that character. He's unoriginal. He's literally just Joker as Batman. We've seen bits and pieces of Joker as Batman in different media all like forever. I don't want to see it. I don't care. Like, give me something new. Give me something fun.
I don't think he's the worst thing. I just think that he's overused. I think that he was a great character upon like initial conception and like the beginning, like what was it called? Dark Knight's Metal. Like around that when they were introducing all those alternate versions of Batman, it was super cool. But like a lot of
I hated Dark Knight's Metal too.
like a lot of comic book stories, Dark Knight's Metal just slowly got more and more ridiculous and convoluted and adding in a bunch of stuff that is completely unnecessary. And by the end of it, I didn't like it. And what's currently going on with what is it? Death metal is just I'm not a fan of that too much either.
I actually like speed metal. I enjoy speed metal because I enjoy the Flash.
It's the best
They're
part.
honestly as for like the Flash being the type of character that he is. There's not a lot of alternate universe stories with the Flash, but death metal is actually like I'm really enjoying what they're doing with death metal or what they're doing with speed metal and what they seem like they're going to be doing with speed metal. I'm actually excited for that. Dark Knight's Metal just felt like a Batman fanboy's wet dream, and I didn't it was not I didn't like it at all. I hated it.
That's what DC has been feeling like for the past like 5 years. Um, they're introducing Red X from Teen Titans cartoon into the comic universe, which is cool. Um, I wonder who will be Red X because they never revealed who that second Red X was in the cartoon.
They never did.
So I wonder who Red X will be in the comics. Maybe it'll be Damien.
I could see that because Damien's one of the few characters they haven't shown for Future State, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
They showed they. Oh
two,
god.
and that's not including Bruce.
No, there's one Batman.
They showed two. They were two completely different.
There's one Batman, two different costumes. It's one Batman, two costumes. But every other character also has a second costume that they've shown. The Wonder Woman has a different costume.
That's weird.
It's
why?
The reason they're doing that is because the concept for this version of the Justice League, to my knowledge, is that it's a Justice League that's so secret that they keep their secret identities even from each other. Like they keep like everything from each other. They don't know each other's identities. They don't know anything. So for some reason, they all have different suits. But if you look at a lot of different characters, like if you look at the new Flash, who's actually a non-binary character now, which is it's an interesting choice. I'm enjoying it. If you look at Batman, I think Green Lantern, the costumes actually cover up more or change enough that it makes them look more secretive.
I mean,
But
isn't the Green Lantern the what is it called? The Far Sector Green Lantern is the Green Lantern in Future State.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it's the Far Sector one.
Yeah, with the Flash, like I'm kind of upset. I mean, we'll see where it goes, but seemingly they're disrespecting Wally and both Barry. They constantly disrespect Barry. Well, they constantly disrespect both in a lot of ways, but Barry.
They just disrespect the Flash. They don't like the Flash, seemingly.
Barely. I'll say barely. Barry is gonna lose his connection to the Speed Force, and Wally is becoming corrupted, which
theoretically the Speed Force should shut down entirely if Barry loses his connection to it because he generates it. So like that.
Oh no, the way it's convoluted, but the way time works is he exists at some point in time, and as long as
he's a universal constant. Yeah,
he exists at some point in time using his powers. The Speed Force exists throughout all of time.
Right. But I mean, it's still like
it still exists.
That's like a fairly new addition, though. Like that's.
See how this is getting confusing, just like I was talking about a couple episodes ago. The more we talk about the Speed Force and try to explain it, the weirder it gets. That's all I have on Future State. If you have anything else.
Okay, I don't know like a lot about a lot of the other characters, but again, I'm a very huge Batman fan. I'm a very huge Bat Family fan. So I've been following like everything with the Bat Family in there. Now we don't know specifically who the new Batman is. It's Luke Fox. I'm just saying that now. It's Luke Fox, Lucius Fox's son, currently Batwing in the main comics. If you wanna use some new editing skills, put a picture of him somewhere on screen. Here, maybe. You know.
Check out the last episode?
What'd you say?
Did you check out the last episode on YouTube?
I didn't check out the last episode. Did you? Are you able to do it now?
I did a lot of stuff.
Okay, all right. I'll check that out after this. Yeah. So Luke Fox. It's Luke Fox. I don't care. It's Luke Fox. This Future State is basically turning into what 5G. If you don't know what 5G is, 5G was basically AT&T was about to sell DC Comics or was about to like get rid of DC Comics or something like that because the comics themselves weren't making as much money, and it was like 5G was supposed to be a last-ditch effort for them to make more money so that they would be able to, and what they wanted to do was change the status quo entirely. And during 5G, Luke Fox is going to be Batman.
Were they just going to sell the comic rights and keep the movie and TV rights? Because
no, I think they were selling everything.
Yeah,
I could be wrong about that because I pretty much buried my head in the sand with that because I didn't want it to happen. So
I don't think that they would have sold like DC.
That was the talk.
I think they might have like stopped comic production, but in terms of movies and TV shows and animated series and movies, DC has a lot of untapped potential, honestly, because with the
they do
the animated like movies, the directed DVD animated movies is like those all like they put like Spider-Verse level budget into an animated movie, they could make a lot of money. And not only could they make
they have the potential.
They could make a lot of
God.
They could make a lot of really good stories if they just put like Spider-Verse levels of like budget into an animated DC movie. Like you said, they have potential. Like
the people in charge don't know how to do with it.
Yeah, when it comes to their animated series, they have some talented writers on those teams because their animated series tend to be pretty good. And even with some of their live action shows like Swamp Thing, they put so much money in it that they stopped making it because it was too expensive, and that show was ridiculously good. And Titans was good for a little bit until it wasn't.
A season. About the season.
It was still good. It got the second season ended prematurely because of COVID. But Doom Patrol is a really good show. Like they have so much potential. I just felt like they
This,
were.
I
But
hated the second season almost as soon as it started. It was that's a story for another time. That's a story for another time.
yeah, but there's a Brazilian Wonder Woman. I forgot to say that. Like,
Yara Floor, yeah.
and there was something else. I can't remember now. The Aquaman comic is going to be focused around Calder and Aquaman's son, which is interesting. I don't know much about Aquaman's son, so. uh, but anyway, moving on.